What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comic. We do. What's up, family? Sixth Element of Hip Hop. This is the DC Power Hour. Every Saturday at 6:30. We're running a little late today. Every Saturday at 6:30, we do the DC Power Hour. We talk about DC news, DC upcoming events, DC comics, films, shows, all of that good stuff, but all DC all day. So today we got a lot of shit to talk about. Sada got some news, Stu got some news, I got some news, and the big story we're gonna definitely cover is that motherfucking Sandman. That shit dropped yesterday, and wow, I'm talking about wow, like comic accurate, sticking to the source material. I haven't seen it like this in a long time, so I'm very excited about that. So what's up, Stu and Sada? How y'all doing?
We're good.
Doing good.
How are you?
Yeah. Good to hear it.
Well, we might as well start off with what everybody's here for. Batgirl's been canceled.
It has.
Flash is possibly on a chopping block. We don't know yet. Warner Brothers they're shaking the tree over at Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
And we got to just wait and see. But as of right now,
merger.
the Flash is still scheduled. Yeah, Flash is still scheduled to be a movie in theaters June of 2023.
If you think the optics for Batgirl are bad, consider the Flash optics. Damn.
This was such a dumb
What they said,
decision.
Batgirl's. You know what? They did say Batgirl's screening. I guess the private screening for the big CEOs, it was poor.
Yeah.
They didn't like it, or
Right.
whatever. I know they do like a little private screening,
Batgirl,
but
it wasn't. I don't know. A lot of people said it was dope. I mean, it was $90 million in the bag. They just, David Zaslav canceled any release of it, and in favor of a tax break. He unleashed the hounds of hell on the directors, and the rest of the crew and the cast who devoted months or years of their lives to making it. And that's who I feel the worst for, because they put this thing together, and it's just and it also told the industry that even if you make a superhero movie, your work may be worth more dead than alive. It's literally worth more to them to cancel it, I guess, for some tax break than to make the movie and have it successful.
Yeah,
It was a dumb decision.
I read there's a loophole when they do mergers or movie companies go out of business. If they make a film and they don't put it out, then they can get their money back. Right. Yeah. They don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to pay anything on it. They can get their money back, or they don't have to pay anything, and they don't have to recoup anything. They don't have to do anything. So as long as the movie's not out, they don't have to pay nothing. So we don't get that.
What were you saying about it's a dumb decision?
Oh no, I was saying it was a dumb decision because, like you said, you set this precedent that your film might not be released, and it's like I don't understand why these decisions aren't made prior to filming. Like, why are you wasting everyone's time? You made it clear from the beginning you had no faith in the Batgirl project because they didn't even want it in theaters. They were hesitant with HBO Max, and we didn't hear anything about the film, like a release date or when we were going to sneak peek. All we had was the casting and some set photos, which is the same thing that Blue Beetle's going through right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was axed. So it's just like not really a smart decision. Like, I don't think the film would have been good, but it was finished. Like, just release it. Like, whatever.
What about Aquaman, Sada? We didn't even hear nothing about Aquaman.
Exactly. We have heard nothing about that film. It'll probably, I don't know. I could see it getting released because it made $1 billion, the first one. So
yeah. They'll talk about it at the next whatever, because Comic-Con was all about Marvel. They just, I think DC was like, we can't compete.
They didn't show up.
Even if we show everything, they showed Shazam and Black Adam, and that was like all they had because I think they even if we show everything we got, it's not going to match up to what Marvel and Disney is doing.
But
so
Reno,
but that's because
Reno they keep messing up. Like, okay, you didn't bring Henry Cavill. You said nothing about a Man of Steel Part 2. And Man of Steel is supposed to be our next Superman movies. So we were basing the next Superman movies on the Man of Steel comic and everything that goes on, which is based a little more in reality. And Clark Kent and Lois are together. They have a baby. They have their own apartment together. Like, it's based on all of that, which is not in none of the other Superman books. So you're like, okay, we can go with this fresh new look. Fans liked it. People you talk to, they say, you know what, Man, it still wasn't that bad. But we hear nothing. No part 2. No nothing. Not one thing. Nothing. Cricket.
The one thing people were most excited about was Henry Cavill. You did nothing. Or even Ben Affleck. You did nothing. He had to do it himself with the set photo he had with Jason Momoa. Their Comic-Con panel was weak, and like they keep talking about this 10-year plan. Why didn't you reveal this at Comic-Con? Like, even if there was an idea that these films probably would never be released, you still want to get fans excited for something. Should have just had it at Comic-Con. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, despite being DC's most famous face, Superman has definitely not, had what was, what fans expected for the DCEU, and Henry Cavill was the latest, actor to bring the Man of Steel to the big screen across 3 blockbuster flicks. You had, he had he did the Man of Steel, the Batman, Superman, Justice League,
Superman.
And when Ben Affleck finally returning as Batman next year in 2 movies, many are wondering like what Cavill's gonna do. But although the actor was absent from Comic-Con, the new report, there's a good update, promising update about his future as Superman. During a conversation between Fandango's Eric Davis and the Rap's Humberto Gonzalez on Twitter Spaces, the insiders offered a promising update, saying first noted that the multiverse has to stay if DC wishes to push forward with both Sasha Calle Supergirl and Henry Cavill Superman in the DCEU. He said the multiverse has to stay if they want to keep Supergirl actress Sasha Calle, bring back a new Superman, or bring back Cavill or something. That's going to have to be the reality of it. Davis then questioned Gonzalez on what he knew about Cavill's Superman future, saying that he heard a story that they've asked him and he doesn't want to do it. He said, "What have you heard about the Henry lately? I've heard that the story that they've asked him and he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to come back." Gonzalez revealed the news. Warner Brothers Discovery regime like Cavill as Superman and may try to bring him back, but that will depend on whoever the new DC guy is overseeing the universe. He said, "I'm pretty sure that if he heard the right take, I do know that the current regime, they like him as Superman, and I think they're going to try. This is probably going to turn into a story. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they'll maybe try to get him back. I could be wrong. I just don't think that they'll have had a take yet for him to come back. But again, that's all subject to whoever the new DC guy is overseeing the universe and his committee and the one answering to David Zaslav. It's been almost 10 years since we've seen him in Man of Steel, but what can I say personally? I don't think it's over just yet." Warner Brothers Discovery's interest in bringing Cavill back as Superman certainly bodes well for his chances returning as Man of Steel. But he previously has opened up about his interest in reprising the DC hero. I know he would do it if they called him back, but he's starting to get like called over to Marvel, and you know what I'm saying? Like he's talking to people about doing shit, but during the last Warner Brothers earnings call, CEO David Zaslav noted his interest in pushing Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman more going forward, setting up a big role for the Man of Steel, with Ben Affleck coming back as, Batman and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And DC is clearly up for involving its biggest heroes anywhere. Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash could all involve Superman. He could be in any one of those or all of them. as Cable doesn't appear to have filmed any scenes as Superman lately, though. Reshoots for the Speedster epic could fit Superman alongside Batman, Flash, Supergirl, and more. After all, the Flash needs some positive press right now, given the Ezra Miller situation. So that would help them. We'll see, though. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you one thing, that the Supergirl or the new Supergirl, whatever, that's not gonna last. That whatever plans they have for her after Flashpoint, I won't guarantee, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were canned, because how are you having another Supergirl and you didn't even bother developing Superman? Like, that's the whole problem. Like, they didn't even develop the Trinity, but you're having all these other side films and it just doesn't make any sense. And there's no wonder this thing isn't even cohesive. It's like a mess.
Yeah. I even heard a rumor that they were axing Henry, like Superman, like the Man of Steel, the whole thing, in favor of Supergirl. Like, they were just gonna, just stop what they were. And I heard that as well, but I don't know how true it is. But
that's what I'm saying.
That would be a poor decision if they decided to do that.
Be. Yeah. Well, DC currently has 2 Superman projects in the works right now. There's an HBO Max series starring the Val Zod iteration and a rebooted movie from J.J. Abrams.
I guarantee you both of those are not going to see the light of day. I wouldn't be surprised if neither one of them saw the light of day.
I wouldn't be.
Oh, don't forget. Hey, guys, don't forget the Green Lantern series that was supposed to come out too.
Yeah, that wasn't that canceled?
And that got a green light. I know it got a green light. We never heard anything. We know it's going to be made.
Yeah, but I feel like that's probably not going to see the light of day.
We got crickets. We got crickets after that. They confirmed that it was a thing, that it was gonna, and then we got crickets. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do at this point. Like you said, anything is on the chopping block at this point.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if Blue Beetle was gone. And since they confirmed they're gonna merge HBO Max and Discovery Plus at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of some of these series for like cost-cutting measures, like. Because a lot of these shows are hanging on by a thread, and it just sucks.
Well, we know the whole Arrowverse. We know the whole Arrowverse got cut because of what you said, because of cost cutting. Yes, so no more Flash, no more Arrow. Lois and Lois and Clark is safe, but else is axed. All the shows are done. Stargirl, I think Stargirl might still have a chance, but everything else is done.
Yeah.
Everything, they're all done. Flash is cut the Flash's final season short because of it.
Yeah. As I think about the marketing, like Young Justice, they didn't market the newest season until like the year it came. Not the year, the month it came out. They did the same thing with Harley Quinn season 3. We didn't get trailers for Harley Quinn season 3 until like literally a month before it came out. These shows are not getting promoted like that. I think they're on the chopping block. They took forever to say Stargirl was gonna have a season 3, so I wouldn't be surprised if after this season, something happened. It's just like too much.
Yeah,
Mm.
and they keep talking about this 10-year plan, but we don't know anything of it. So I'm not latching on to anything until I see something.
I remember back in like 2015 or something like that. It was like 2014. I do know Obama was still in the White House. And I remember they were talking about making the Flash movie, Aquaman, Superman. Like I remember all the movies they announced, Shazam. I was literally excited reading about it. And then and they were saying like 2021, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, that's kind of like a long way away. And then we get here, I'm like, damn, and then you cancel everything. I'm like,
COVID happened, and then it pushed everything up another 2 years, 3 years.
I put it on my calendar. I got a notification like last week that the Black Adam movie was supposed to come out, and it's like, oh, that didn't happen. So damn.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, Stu. I know you got to go, man. You got a thing. So we will see you later. We'll see you Monday, I guess, right?
Oh yeah. We'll definitely be on Monday. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, and
but yeah,
you know.
Michael Keaton is.
Don't forget about Titans too. Titans was another show that got canceled.
Oh yeah, that's on hanging on by a damn thread.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Roll out, y'all. Peace.
Hey, be easy, man. Be safe.
Peace.
Yeah, Titans. But yeah, so the 10-year plan. Warner Brothers reportedly has a 10-year plan for their DC films, similar to what the MCU has over at Disney. And of course, following the shocking news that Warner Brothers Discovery is scrapping Batgirl completely, even though the film had been already nearly completed. The studio and the future of the DCEU brand has been at the center of numerous questions and headlines. Batgirl's cancellation was an unprecedented move, to say the least, and it signaled a major shift in strategy for Warner Brothers Discovery and its DC brand. Rumors have begun to circulate that the planned Supergirl film starring Sasha Cale that would spin out from The Flash has been scrapped. And there is a chance the studio will also push back the release date for major films like Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Aquaman, The Last Kingdom. And Warner Brothers Discovery has tried to deflect the negative attention by announcing a release date for Joker Folie deux, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
Additionally, Lady Gaga confirmed she has joined as Harley Quinn. Dude, if they make Joker into a musical, it's just, I'll be mind blown. Like, that'll just be the cake or the icing on the cake for me. Like, wow.
I never cared about the first film, so this film was like whatever.
Yeah,
but they're having Harley Quinn, so I'm interested to see Lady Gaga's interpretation.
I would love to see Lady Gaga play Harley Quinn in like a normal movie, but I hate musicals. That's just me. I just hate musicals. I've never enjoyed a musical in my life. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah. People love them, apparently. I mean, some people do love musicals, and I'm not knocking you if you love musicals. People do. I don't get the appeal, but I don't knock anyone, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, I was had a list of all the stuff that they canceled. It was pretty amazing.
It's so much. It's so much.
And it's like, this is the wrong time to do it.
And I understand, but like WB is just not in a position where they should be making these kinds of moves where, like, who are you reassuring by making these moves? Like, it's not the fans. There's no way. And I don't know. Oh, man. I understand, like, the films, but if they cancel Blue Beetle, which I could see happening, unfortunately, it's just like you're making all these decisions after shit has already been filmed. Like, it's just a waste of everyone's time. And I feel bad for everybody involved.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, The Flash might go to streaming, they said. Because they've already put like $200 million into it. With Ezra Miller involved in all these controversies and all that, if this was the 90s or whatever, they would never dream of canceling a movie because the actor did some dumb shit. That would make they would never even link up. This is just something in today's society where everyone involved has to be squeaky clean or the project sucks or whatever.
I think being, not being a criminal, I think that's a good requirement for talent if you're gonna be be in a film. Maybe don't be a criminal.
They didn't used to care. Like in the 80s and 90s, actors were getting arrested all the time. That didn't do anything to the movie. And it's like, yeah, that might prevent you from getting hired to do the next movie. But once this movie's been made, they never cared what the actors did. That never affected movie sales. That's a current society thing that we're now dealing with that was never part of the industry before. So shit like this happens. And yeah, I mean, it's inevitable.
Oh yeah.
It's inevitable when you start censoring people and then now you have this kind of shit happen. But
I feel like part of it is just we're in a space where like we're holding people accountable now. So it's like, I'm okay with it. I mean,
there's something to be said for that too, of course. I agree. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for that too. Accountability is, but does it get to a point where it gets like maybe like a power hungry or like you all go overboard, holding people accountable for doing stuff that really doesn't affect anyone, silly
well,
shit.
sure. There are certain situations where that happens. I feel like in this situation, that's not the case. But there are other situations where that has happened, where like it's a little unnecessary to try and cancel someone over something so minute and was an honest mistake or whatever. You know,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
there's certainly tons of situations like that.
And no, and I would never give an excuse for Ezra Miller or anything he's done. And yeah, sure, cancel him or, make it impossible for him to get another job or whatever. And that would all make sense. But canceling a movie that's been done, he's not doing any of these things in the movie. He's acting as Barry Allen the Flash. He's portraying a role. We might still be able to enjoy this movie knowing that the actor is crazy and weird. You know what I mean? Like he's just fucking weird and he's a little maybe violent and whatever, but it's not gonna make me not watch the movie. It honestly, I would still watch the movie. Like it wouldn't bother me at all.
I think it's just the optics for WB. Like the optics are they're not good. They're in the toilet actually for this film. I probably won't see the film. It's just like I can't, but it's we'll see how it goes if it even gets released.
That's the real question. Yeah. Will it get released? Well, what has been released and what we are watching currently is Sandman on Netflix. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet, but I've heard good things.
Okay,
I've heard it's really comic accurate.
It very much, very much is. And it's finally here. And this is after decades of attempts. Sandman they've been trying to make this for 30 years. It's just that actually Neil Gaiman, the writer of it, has been blocking all of the attempts because he didn't feel that they were up to par. It wasn't. He said that the technology wasn't really there then to do the special effects and make it really seem like the world, from the comics. And so,
right.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he waited until it was going to be done right. I personally did not read the comics. I read one of the books, but I never got into comics. But the book was amazing, and so far I've watched I think 5 episodes of Sandman because Netflix just drops them all. You can watch the whole thing.
Oh right,
but yeah, and it's so far it's like spot on. I mean, of course, there's stuff they have to leave out and change it, and what they've done a lot of is they immediately tell you some stuff that in the books or comics you wouldn't find out until later, but to catch people's interest and to sort of hook them in, I can see why it was important or why it was necessary to reveal that now. Because if you
they
don't,
did that with Invincible in the first episode when Omni-Man goes ham on the whatever that Justice League team was called when he kills them all. That's not until way later in the comics, but I understand why they did it then. Yeah,
exactly.
So I get that.
Yeah. And that's So I mean, there's stuff like that, but for the most part, it's been very accurate to what I read in the book, and everything I'm seeing so far is people are saying it's equally accurate to the comics. The the people that made the show are very proud and talking about how accurate it is and all of that stuff. But there are some characters that got left out or changed, and I'm not happy about all the changes, but some of them are great. Some of them I'm indifferent to. But there is so John Constantine is, I think he's probably the biggest character that I feel like I wish they didn't change. They they replaced
he was supposed to be in it.
Yeah. Well, he's replaced with Joanna Constantine, played by Jenna Coleman, who goes through pretty much the exact same story as John does in the comics with a few additional scenes. And there's a Joanna Constantine in the original Sandman comics who is one of John Constantine's ancestors, but she's not like a character. But so what they did, they took that persona and made her the character instead of John Constantine. I guess, you know, they were trying to cut down on the amount of white men in the cast. So they replaced him with a female. And then Etrigan the Demon, the Sandman from Sandman number 4.
He's not in there.
No, he's not going to be. He does not appear in the series. Instead, Morpheus is guided through hell by a demon called Squatter Bloat, which I guess would have, you know, been what Etrigan would have done. And so, yeah, that sucks. Dr. Destiny. So John D.
So all the characters I recognize are not there.
There's gonna be some that you'll recognize that are in it, but yeah. So like a lot of the DC like extended DC stuff that's from outside of Sandman, they like a lot of those characters. They I guess made it where they're more original to this. But John D. is a character that does appear in the Sandman on Netflix, but he does not appear in his supervillain persona as Dr. Destiny. So, you know, and he's, of course, a Justice League villain who debuted back in the 60s and used his personal inventions to combat the Justice League. But one such invention was the Dream Stone, which allowed him to manipulate dreams. The Sandman retconned that device to be Morpheus's lost tool, which D tweaked until it would only work for him. So Morpheus has these tools. Morpheus is the Sandman, is Dream. His name is Dream in the book. But so another character that's not in it is Scarecrow. Because so like Arkham Asylum is in the Sandman. This is a very DC. It's a DC comic and it's a DC show. Right. And there's like Arkham Asylum is there, and there are characters from DC that are going to be mixed in here. But after being defeated by the Justice League, John D. was sent to Arkham Asylum in the comics, not in the show, where Batman's villains go, of course, after being defeated by Batman. But one of those villains appeared in the Sandman comics, Jonathan Crane, right? The Scarecrow appeared, you know, having a conversation with John D. while they were both stuck in Arkham. He even mentions the Joker in the Sandman comic. And then Mr. Miracle is another character I knew. Scott Free. He's from the comic. He will not be in it. Martian Manhunter will not be in it. The Sandman. So in the DC Comics universe, Hector Hall was a superhero who went by several different monikers, including the Sandman. And after he died, his consciousness became trapped in the Dreaming by a couple of rogue nightmares. The Dreaming is the name of the Sandman's realm. It's the dream realm, right? It's where all the dreams are created and could go to. And so the Sandman is sort of the god of the dream world. He sort of is there to make sure that, you know, certain dream aspects don't escape into the real world and, you know, stuff like that. And that's kind of who he is. So he's one of the 7 Endless. All right. There's 7 characters. There's 7 siblings called the Endless. All right. Like there's Destiny, Desire, Death, Dream, Delirium, Despair, Destruction. And then there's Night, and there's Calliope, Orpheus, Rose Walker, Jedi. So, but of the 7 Endless, they all start with a D, right? He was the Lord and personification of all the dreams and stories, and all that is not in reality. 10 billion years ago, right, is when he comes into existence. As soon as sentient life forms are capable of dreaming, appeared in the universe. Dream was one of the endless personifications of ideas and concepts that were tied to life and were fated to fulfill their functions until the universe ended and all life dispersed from the cosmos. So the endless are children of time and night. Like literally time and night is the mother of the latest of at least dream, right? So this is everything is personified, right? And this is what Sandman's about. They've characterized, personified all these things. And then 80,000 years ago, after Despair was murdered, Dream and the Endless went to the necropolis to put her body to rest, and the village of Litharge was granted a charter by the Endless and became the new necropolis after they revoked the old one's charter when they. It's a whole fucking thing. Then 10,000 years ago, Dream as Kaikul appeared to Nada, the queen of an African city. And this is cool because in the comics, there's a whole thing with Kaikul and Nada, and they're African. Well, he's Dream, but he's embodied as an African man, and then she's African queen. But in the show, they actually put in a little cameo as Dream is walking, through a hallway in hell. There's this woman comes out, like pokes her head out, and it's Nada from the African city, and she's the queen of the African city, and she sees him as Kaikul, so he to her looks African. And so we kind of see that, and they interact, and it's like a little cameo, and it's really cool that they put that in there. And then but there's this whole timeline, and he comes all the way up through 6 AD, the late 700s, 1389, 1489, 1589, 1593, deals with Shakespeare and all this shit. So there's a whole big history, and the sort of the story begins in 1916, right, where this occultist named Roderick Burgess, who was like Aleister Crowley's rival at the time, they're like magicians, sorcerers, and stuff like that. He's got his Order of Ancient Mysteries, and he's trying to summon and imprison Death herself, the actual god Death, right? He wants to summon her into the real world and then entrap her, because he wants, his son who was killed in the war to be able to come back to life or whatever. He's got all these stupid notions. So he summons Death, but accidentally instead summons Dream. And so now Dream, who he thinks is Death at first, pops in, and Dream's wearing this crazy weird helmet thing. He's got this ruby necklace and this little bag of sand. Those are his three tools. He's laying there. They take the helm, they take the bag of sand, they take the ruby away from him, and they encapsulate him in this glass ball, this little glass cage. And there he keeps him. He keeps him there for 100 years. It's 1916. So the story goes along as Burgess is getting older. 1930 goes around. His son comes into the story. A woman comes into the story. They got this family, and they're doing all these things, and they're just going on about their life all the way up through until 1988. From 1916 to 1988, Dream is trapped in this little container. He hasn't spoken a word, and periodically the Magus goes down and begs him to give him something. He's like, give me immortality, give me wealth, give me youth, do something for me, and I will let you go. Like, it's been 100 years,
right?
Constantly hitting him up. He's like, listen, all you gotta do is do something for me, man, and I will let you go. And so he finally lets him go, or he dies. Sorry, yeah, he dies. He doesn't let him go. He dies, and I don't know why my camera is fucked up.
Oh, you're back.
Sorry, I didn't know I was for a while. I couldn't even see. But so he dies, and the son sort of takes over as Dream's captor. Then over the next 40 years, the son grows up, and he too attempts to negotiate with Dream to no avail. And meanwhile, the order of his magic, his order of occultists, whatever, that sort of falls apart and goes away. And then 1988, after another failed attempt to get Dream to talk to him, the son, Alex, now confined to a wheelchair, was taken back to his room, but not before one of the wheels on the chair scuffed the binding circle that was made on the floor, which broke the enchantment that prevented Dream from entering the minds of mortals when they sleep. So during this whole 100 years that they've got Dream trapped, all over the world, there's people not waking up. Like there's people that have just been sleeping for 50 years, or people that can't sleep, or people that are sleepwalking, perpetually sleepwalking, or whatever sleep disorders you can figure out. People are in that because Dream is not running his domain. And so, all during all this time, they're trying to get him to do something so they can let him go. And then one of the guards on duty that's watching Dream in his little cage falls asleep. And that's all Dream needed, was someone to be sleeping near him so that he could escape through their dreams, right? And so for 100 years, like they've been feeding these guards amphetamines and everything to keep them from ever falling asleep. So this one guard finally falls asleep, and Dream is able to escape and go back to his realm real quick. And that's sort of that's sort of how the show begins. That's how the book begins that I read. And I assume that's how the comics begin. I'm sure Norin Rad knows, because
yeah, he's giving out info on the side. I'm learning from him and you.
Yeah, he's all into. So yeah, he don't give him shit. That's right. Yeah, being in prison changed him. That's right. Yeah, he doesn't give him nothing. My damn camera again. What is going on?
I can't believe Static Shock was in it. Oh, so many
Static
characters. He said Static Shock was in it. Norin Rad. He was part of the comic, I guess.
Oh, okay. Damn. Yeah, possibly. I mean, if he says so. Because like I said, I haven't read the comic, but yeah, there's a lot of characters that they either that they aren't putting in, or they changed, or whoever. Which, like I said, Constantine was one of them. But the characters of the Sandman that we kind of we've got that's going to be in the show rather is Dream. That's Morpheus. That's this guy here. So that's how he looks there in the comics on the right, obviously, and there he is in live action on the Netflix show. That's how he looks.
Nice.
And they did a great job. I mean, look, you can see, like, look how accurate that is. That's a great job. And this guy Morpheus, aka Dream, he's also known, he's the title of the series is Sandman. He's one of the endless, like I said, living embodiments of human attributes that have existed for billions of years. He has complete control of the dreaming. That's the realm where humans spend, 1/3 of our lives. And he has nearly unlimited magical abilities. In the comic books, he's a power hungry man. Like I just told you, traps dreams for decades, letting his magical totems fall into the wrong hands. Much of the early Sandman stories involve him getting them back. And that's kind of how the Netflix series starts out as well. Because remember, he had three things. He had his helm, he had the ruby, and he had the bag of sand. They were taken from him, and then the people that took those from him got them stolen from them, and so they were just lost around the world. He doesn't know where they are. He has not the first clue where to look for them, how to find them, or whatever. And so that's kind of where it started, and he's trying to find his tools, and he's already, I think I'm on episode 5, and I think he's found them all except the ruby, who is currently in the possession of John D, this guy, but we'll get to him in a second. The next character, a character that they changed a great deal, was Lucian. So Lucian on the right was the skinny white dude, and now Lucian is this black woman that is in the show. So she has taken the role of Lucian. She's Lucian. This is one of the sort of swaps of role of gender and race that I don't think affect the story in any way, good or bad. It's just kind of indifferent to it. It doesn't really affect anything. So it's a good change. And she's the head librarian of the dreaming. She's also kind of his, like, not secretary, assistant kind of guy or girl in this. and woman. So Lucian lives in Morpheus Castle, and where the books on everyone's lives and the stories are at. In the original comics, like I said, Lucian was a man. They gender swapped in the series. When Dream vanished for a century, Lucian was effectively in charge of the dreaming. But when Morpheus returns, Lucian becomes Sandman's right hand again, and their relationship is respectful but sometimes prickly. Now, let's see. Did I show you guys Cain and Abel? Cain and Abel is another couple of characters that they that are in the show.
How many episodes is this?
I would say 10. No, hold on. I'll tell you exactly. Hold on. But it's a good size. I mean, it's not like a mini series. It's not like 6 episodes or anything. So
yeah. Okay. Oh, Norn Rad like the Lucian. Is that her name? Yeah.
Lucian,
okay.
yeah.
All right, Norn Rad. All right.
Yeah, it's 10 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I ignored him in the books, not in the show. Actually, I think improved the character. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, Lucian didn't do much in the books. He was just kind of there, so I don't think it really mattered. But let me see who else we got up here. No, that's the ones that were cut. Hold on. All right, and then there's Matthew the Raven. There is John D. So this guy, this is a really cool character. This one, John D. Really cool, as in like the guy that plays him, is a great actor and just makes him really interesting. He's much different in the comics. Like I said, he's Justice League villain Dr. Destiny. He used the stolen dream stone of Morpheus, which his mother gave him, to give himself vast powers. An inmate of Arkham Asylum, he breaks free and causes all kinds of hell and hectic damage. In the comics, he has an almost skeletal look, which they're not doing for the show. But the great David Thewlis plays him on the screen, so we get it. Why cover up that expressive actor? But this guy, I thought was going to be Constantine in the That's What Drew Him. Yeah, he was scarier in the books. Yeah, he was scarier in the books. He was very interesting though in the show. Very interesting in the show.
I'm only aware of him through the cartoon, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, like, Dr. Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this guy I saw in the trailer, and I thought there was going to be Constantine. This is the Corinthian. The Corinthian is a male presenting figure, meaning it's not really male or female. He's a nightmare, but seems to be a male. He's actually a nightmare creation of Morpheus of Dream, and he escapes the dreaming and let loose on the waking world. He murders young men for sport. He has no eyeballs. Instead, he's got 2 little small mouths where his eyes would be, and he wears shades to hide that. Nice. And he inspired a whole century's worth of serial killers.
Nice.
Killers who thought of themselves as collectors. So yeah, that's
very interesting.
It is. Yeah, it is. Now, this is Death. In the comics, you see is her on the right, skinny little white girl, and here she is in the show on the left. Death is Dream's positively cheerful sister, who is exactly what her name suggests, the embodiment of the end of life. In the comics, she's portrayed as a young woman who always wears an Ankh necklace around her neck, and she's there at the end of everyone's life, guiding them into what comes next for them beyond this world. She is her brother Dream's closest friend among the endless family of siblings, and she's the only one who can speak to him, in certain honest terms. I have not gotten to the scenes with her yet, but I imagine it's great. I imagine that she does fine. Sure, they're good. There's a lot more of her later. Yeah. Okay. The show didn't give Death enough. Okay. Yeah, I have. I guess Norrin Rad's finished the show. You watched all 10 episodes, bro?
Yeah, I think he finished.
Yeah, he must have finished the whole joint. Yeah, it just dropped yesterday. I watched as many as I could. You know, the time I had. I think I got halfway through. I'll watch the rest tonight, but it's really good. And I know like the LGBT community is going to be very represented with this show. The comic was a very LGBTQ, I don't know, friendly or it was big in that community. You know, during the early 90s and stuff, late 80s. Because there was a lot of prominent characters that were either gay or bi or pansexual or transgender all through the comic. The two of the main characters, Alex is gay. He's got a husband or a boyfriend throughout the show. I think she's lesbian. Constantine is a lesbian. Yeah. So that's Jenna Coleman, who plays Joanna Constantine, which, you know, many fans know about DC Comics supernatural investigator and cult expert John Constantine. You know, if not from the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves, then by his role in DC Legends of Tomorrow or the comics. But in Sandman, Neil Gaiman introduced his ancestor, Joanna Constantine, who in the comics is an 18th century adventurer. And she only made a few appearances in the comics, and she wasn't really a big character in the comics. But it looks like, you know, he's going to be taking the role of probably both her and John in the Netflix series.
Yeah, it could have been maybe rights. Maybe they couldn't use the character because it is a Netflix show. So I don't know how much leeway they had with some of these DC characters. So they may have not had a choice but to use her.
Gotcha. All right, let's see. Yeah, and then this is Lucifer.
Yes, I remember her from the trailer.
Yes, and she's obviously from Game of Thrones. She was Brienne of Tarth. But she is playing Lucifer Morningstar as the fallen angel and ruler of hell, just as in the Bible. And the absolute ruler in the realm of the underworld, Lucifer, appears androgynous. So she was designed to look like a young David Bowie in the comics. So she's not, you know, she's he, she, whatever. She's an angel, so it's not a he or a she. It's androgynous. So you really, you know, it's like non-binary, I guess, or sort of more feminine looking. But Lucifer has ruled in hell for over 10 billion years, during which time a rivalry with Dream began. And Gwendolyn Christie portrays Lucifer in the series. Interestingly enough, though, the main character on the TV series Lucifer is also based on this character, Neil Gaiman's version of the character from the Sandman comics. So if you saw the show Lucifer, this is that character. Let's see.
From the TV show, like the one that was on Netflix.
Yeah, Lucifer.
Okay.
Yeah, Lucifer was based on this same character. Obviously, they went with the more male version for the other show, and then this is Roderick Burgess. This is the wizard, the magus, the sorcerer that entraps Dream in the very beginning. And I was very excited to see who played him, because this dude plays what's his name? Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. Sweet Brother Numpsy in Golden Child. He's just been a favorite of mine for many years. But yeah, he plays an awesome villain, so he's great. And and then there's a lot of other characters. There's Rose Walker, who's a young, you know, American woman with incredible power, unknown to anyone but those in the dreaming. But Rose is a once-in-a-millennium individual known as a dream vortex. In other words, a human who can break down the barriers between dreams and reality. But in the waking world, she's just considered, she's just a concerned sister trying to reconnect with her missing brother. But she's a major character in the collection of Sandman stories, The Dollhouse, and she plays an important role in season 1 of the show. And then there's Leta and Hector Hall. This is interesting. So in the comics, Hippolyta, aka Leta, Trevor Hall, and her husband, Hector Hall, are the children of icons. Leta is the daughter of the 1940s Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, named Hippolyta after Diana's mother, and Hector is the son of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And as young people, they were heroes. They were Fury and Silver Scarab in DC. And after Hector dies, his dream self manages to impregnate his wife Leta, creating a break in the barrier between dreams and reality. And then, of course, both characters appear in the Netflix series. Well, only with their connections to the iconic DC heroes will be removed, unfortunately. I don't know why they're doing that. They've really disconnected all of the DC comic superhero type stuff pretty much out of this show. I guess they did it so people would see it as something unique.
They may have not had a choice but to do that. They may have not had a choice but to do that. They may, because those are well-known characters and stuff. So
could be the right thing.
WB's pretty strict on which characters can be used where, and they're just weird about it. So like putting embargoes on everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, some people say he changed a lot. Some people say he didn't change anything from the comics. But there's some stuff is definitely changed. But it definitely keeps the spirit of the comics intact, avoiding most of the usual streaming pitfalls. As adapted by Gaiman, the show airs toward like a literal translation of the comics as often as possible. For as complex as the series mythology becomes, the show finds a way to introduce new fans without completely confusing them. Because like I said in the beginning, they reveal some things right off that you don't find out till much later in the comics, because it makes it easier for new fans to to be able to consume it and without completely just confusing them, because it is a very complex, a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff going on with the mythology and stuff. So all it has to do is bring us up to speed, explain the Sandman is one of the several siblings who rule the crucial aspects of humanity, right? Dream, death, despair, things like that, desire. From there, you either in or you're out, and off it goes. Each of the season's 10 episodes tend to faithfully correspond to specific comic issues, right? So from the opening saga, Sweep of the Just, how Dream got captured by, the Magus and all of that, and Dream confronting the defiant vortex that threatens to swallow his realm for good. Some episodes transpose Gaiman's lines word for word, including the Sound of Her Wings episode, which introduces Hal Baptiste as an especially magnetic, warm version of death. Others expand and flesh out the issue's initial ideas, like one deeply disturbing chapter, 24/7, in which an escaped psychiatric patient, portrayed with perfectly unnerving precision by David Thewlis, turns a rest stop diner into his own personal morality experiment. And there are, there are, as was inevitable, like I said, a couple of exceptions to the one issue equals one episode rule. For one, the season excludes flashback volume Tales in the Sand entirely. So if you're, a lot of this stuff, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, it's if you know about the comics, which frankly, maybe. But for another one, the TV show threads the entire season with the lurking threat of the Corinthian, which, a vicious rogue nightmare played by Boyd Holbrook, with a chilling, silken smirk. And if any diehard fans have made it this far, you know, in the show, trust me, you know, I'm sure that you've seen everything you've recognized from the books and stuff.
Yeah, Nornrad said they covered like 15 issues worth in the first season. If they go by 15, I mean, they could pull a good 4 to 6 seasons out of this if they wanted to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just depends on
Because there
how
is
they plan
75.
it out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's 75 issues of the main comic. There's spin-off comics. There's novels. I forget how many novels he has. There's a bunch of novels. And I don't know if the novels are exact adaptations of the comics or if some of them deviate or whatever. But I know the first one that I read was definitely straight out of the comics. And it's almost verbatim what the show has been so far. So that's really cool.
I'm excited to check it out. It sounds interesting. Maybe I'll binge it tomorrow or between tomorrow and Monday. I'll binge it maybe.
Yeah. The cast is great. You got Tom Sturridge playing Dream. And like I said, Charles Dance playing Roderick Burgess, Tywin Lannister. You can't go wrong there. Gwendolyn Christie's Lucifer. Boyd Holbrook is the Corinthian. And then Vivian H.M. Pong I'm probably saying it wrong, but she played Lucian, and I recognized her. I've seen her in something else. I don't know what. Do you? There she is. Do you recognize her from something? It's from something.
I don't. I don't recognize her. Maybe it's because of the haircut. I don't know.
Could be the haircut, but
I don't recognize her.
All right, what's her name? Let's see what else she's done. Vivian H.M. Pong. Sure, that's not how you pronounce it, but let's see. Known for The Witches in 2020, The One in 2021. Let's see. Did I see any of those? No. What did I see? What's The Witches? Yeah, that's what I saw in The Witches.
The Witches? What's that?
I think so.
That sounds a little familiar.
Yeah, I think it was like a yeah, it was a comedy like movie about witches or something. Let me see. Roles are Witches, Simply the Witches, a 2020 dark fantasy film directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Zemeckis, Guillermo del Toro, based on the 1983 novel of the same name. Yeah. Oh.
Did you figure it out?
Minute. No, but The Witches. Unless she just looks just like the other witch. But yeah, Anne Hathaway. No, because there was I think Witches it's a reboot because there was one back in the day, like 30 years ago, called The Witches.
Right. Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's probably a reboot.
It's gotta be, it's a reboot.
Yeah.
Because I remember The Witches. I remember The Witches. That was like there was like a little she turned the boy into a little mouse. I know you had to have seen this movie. Well, no, actually you might not have because you're a little younger. Yeah, okay, there it is, 1990. Yeah, it came out in 1990, The Witches, the first one. So it was like a reboot. Let me see if you recognize this. You recognize that?
Oh God, no.
Okay, so yeah, you would know it if you saw it. Yeah, that's the witch
God.
from the 1990 movie. Yeah, she's a
That's
looker.
creepy.
She is a looker. But yeah, Michael Keaton, look at him, already kitted out in his Michael Keaton suit and everything. That's Batgirl. So
yeah, they've scrapped him from the future of the DCEU, which I think is a good idea. But it's just like I feel bad because got him all suited up and wasted his time. So yeah,
yeah, it really sucks. And like a lot of fans that were excited to see it, man. I know I was. I was excited to see Keaton as Batman again because he was my favorite Batman.
I was kind of in the middle. I was like, yeah, I felt like they were bringing him in for like nostalgia bait and to like make him the
just
definitive
like
Batman from that point on. That's crazy. That's literally insane. Why would you do that? So I'm glad that they're scrapping him, but it's like I wouldn't have mind to see him one more time. Maybe we'll see him in the Flash film if that ever gets released, but I don't know.
Yeah, Keaton is my favorite Batman. I would love to see him come back out and just as a cameo. I mean, I don't want to see an old man Batman movie really, but yeah.
I could see them releasing the Flash movie just because they've put so much into it and they probably think it would do well in theaters. So
yeah,
I could see it coming out, but
yeah, it's all possible. Warner Brothers Discovery stock plummets after cancellations.
Yeah, that's what they deserve. I don't know what they expected.
Yeah, I mean, this company stock dropped over 16%.
Oh boy.
That's not good at all. Of course, the WBD isn't built entirely on DC, as HBO Max is one of the more prominent streaming services with IPs like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. And it's scary because like for HBO Max too.
Look at it. Watch out for your shows. I'm telling you, whatever shows you like, them joints might be gone in a couple years.
Yeah,
they've already confirmed they're gonna, merge HBO Max with Discovery Plus. I don't know who's gonna hit that chopping block.
Well, they said, as far as like their own original content, they're gonna be doing mostly non-scripted. Like they were talking about like eliminating all their scripted content.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, like that's reality TV came and gone. Like, who fucking cares about reality TV anymore? People still watch reality TV?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Mostly like I would say like Housewives. I mean, yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's who pretty much it always.
But for HBO Max, that's not the draw. Like, why would you put your shift to unscripted TV when that wasn't the draw at all, actually.
Really yeah, that's really
not what fans have gravitated towards.
Not at all. Not at all. And like I personally don't watch any the reality stuff. Like I like scripted stuff, shows. So yeah, that will suck. And we've got shows that we're like highly anticipating, like the new Game of Thrones spinoff. Bro, if they cancel that, bro, I will definitely cancel my subscription. I for real, man. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. And that's what that's the crazy thing about all of this. Nothing is safe. You've set a precedent, like nothing is safe. Like even if it's finished, they could change their mind and be like, we're done. That's the worst part. You think it's all good and it's not.
Nope.
I know
it's
the DC shows. Nah.
Yeah, it's like people that I can imagine, like people that care about Batgirl, like how I care about Game of Thrones. That would be devastating. Like that really sucks. I couldn't care less about Batgirl, but I meant Batgirl. But if that was Game of Thrones, I'd be fucking pissed, dude.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who were excited for this film. I feel worse for the people involved. I just hope they got paid for their time. I just all that time, I hope they got paid because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. Like some of them got paid for like their hourly wage or whatever, but the ones that were expecting a return on sales or whatever like that, they're fucked. because some people that work on movies get paid based on, after how much money it makes and all of that.
Right.
Right. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that sucks for them.
And then the shows, like, I think Young Justice, that's probably not going to be renewed because they have yet to say if season 5 is coming, despite the ending. Like, that's probably going to get scrapped. I mean, they're already doing like cost cutting measures within the show. So I don't know. It's like, okay. And the fandoms are really strong, and they're going to find out if they make these axes. They're going to find out just how strong the fandoms are with these shows. Because the fans are already 1 foot out the door. It's just like, man, it's hard.
Oh wow! So David Zaslav is excited for Ezra Miller's superhero movie, despite every other Google result you'll get for Ezra Miller right now. Warner Brothers CEO tries to explain why The Flash is great, but Batgirl had to die. I wonder what he says. What does he say? How does he justify that? Let's see. Oh. Can I get an exact quote?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I would like to know that.
If freshly established Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav was hoping to make a splash in his new job this week, he certainly succeeded. The company's streaming service HBO Max is currently on the people's lips all across the internet as various folks make exclamations like, "Oh wow, HBO Max is going straight to the shitter," or ask questions like, "Why is HBO Max going straight into the shitter?" After drawing ire for a whole bunch of decisions related to the streaming service this week, including plans to shelve 2 nearly completed movies, Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Hunt, and the quiet removal of plenty of originals from the HBO Max roster. Zaslav got a chance to justify his actions during a newly merged company's Q2 earnings call today. His comments were heavy on ambitious planning, light on respect for the various artists who make the actual content of his company's profits so aggressively off of, and whose work has now been relegated to basically a line on an entertainment super giants tax filings. A line on an entertainment super giants tax filings. Okay. As noted by Variety, Zaslav repeatedly returned to the word quality as a justification for the cuts. He never outright said Batgirl, which would have introduced Leslie Grace as the character and formally returned Michael Keaton to the Bat fold. Wasn't said quality, but he did state that we're not going to launch a movie to make a quarter, and we're not going to put a movie out unless we believe in it.
See, I don't mind that, but this decision should have been made prior to filming Batgirl. You wasted all of these people's time. Like, well, maybe not him specifically, but whoever was involved in that. Like, come on. I agree, quality over quantity. I mean, but it's just not like this. Not like this.
Well, of course, it does seem a little coincidental that the movies that Zaslav doesn't believe in just happen to be the same films lined up by his immediate predecessor, John Killar, as part of the company's bold movies to direct to streaming plan.
He shut them down. And I don't know. I just feel bad for Batgirl because it was finished. That was just a dumb move. If they had axed it before it started filming, I would have been like, great, because the movie probably wouldn't have been good anyways. I don't think it would have been good.
Would.
So
as far as, quality, there's been a drop in quality lately in these kind of movies and shows. So I'm glad that somebody's like, you know what, we're not going to put it out if it sucks,
right?
Because you fucking knew that Obi-Wan sucked. I'm sorry, come on. you knew that show sucked, but
they said, nah, put it out.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll ride the wave of Star Wars. It's all good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I agree, quality over quantity. Absolutely, especially with DC, who, I mean, unfortunately, quantity, I don't even know if they were up there with that, which is fine, but the quality has just not been there. So they just got to improve on the quality first, and then we can go from there.
Exactly. Well, guys, that is our hour, and we will catch you guys Monday at the same time, same bat channel, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, right here on the Sixth Element of Hip Hop. Peace, y'all.
Boy.
Peace.